just got to think about where we left off. So I think we had our window closing finally, after having a whole hour of debugging a simple problem of a mistake I made, but that is life of, I guess, software engineer. So at the end of the last time, I kind of spoke about wanting to add this abstraction of like an engine, which will own the renderer and the window. Did I even start thinking about? So look, so we have our platform window, fine. Things I've been reading, I think I want to call this pump, because we're kind of pumping the messages off the queue. Yeah, so we're talking about having this kind of platform API where we read in the function pointers, and so our engine only knows about that. We can probably load our functions into this API. So I guess we need function pointers for creating window, and then I guess this would be like pump message. Right, because the platform needs to better pump messages off the queue. I think let's actually create a. So we're gonna need an engine. I guess our engine. Our engine is going to be responsible for the API. Right, so it's going to be so the engine itself is going to have an instance of a platform window, right? And so what does our engine kind of need to have? I guess our engine's going to be responsible for like creating window, getting memory maybe. And then if I have no, so this stuff should return engine pointer, right? So then I need to kind of init engine. And what sort of things to take? I guess nothing. So what do we want it to do? Well, we want it to fill out the struct basically, right? We want to create a platform window. I guess we can hold the window. I think initially we'd probably bootstrap the API, pass it the API. And then return it, right? So basically our window, so this is all for our Win32 platform code, right? So we're creating a Win32 window, reading messages. We'll probably have reading files and windows here. This is going to be our API, so basically each platform will need to fill out these functions. So like I think here we can have like you know, include our engine here. Who doesn't like being underneath? I guess it was just not being used, that's why I silenced it like that. And then, so like in main, we would need like some engine pointer, right, where we init an engine. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud right now. And then in here, then have a platform. So then, because we're in Windows, we would then have you know, we have engine platform API. pointer. Right, it's init engine. Init engine. Alright, and all we do is well, if I want to return a pointer to, they have to I wonder if we just void this, right, and we take in reference to an engine. I don't want to turn anything, do we? I don't know about that. Because then here we would just have what are we doing? So here we're creating the engine in this scope, and then we're passing the memory of that engine, say in an engine fill out, right? But why? Why am I trying to initialize an engine? Because then I have engine dot platform API dot create window. What am I initializing? Do you know what I mean? Basically, I'm filling out the platform API stuff with functions for Windows at the moment. Because engine needs to do everything, right? Engine needs to create so the engine's gonna hold the window, platform API stuff, and the renderer, and all the memory. But engine needs to be able to do that agnostically, right? It has to be able to do it. Yeah, so engine's not going to know until, so we have to fill it out ourselves, right? So we have to say, oh, engine, we're running in Windows. Here's how you're going to create a window on this platform. So then in engine, right? Okay, so in an engine we would have like the create window thing, so wait, so we have the platform window here, right? So we need to create the platform window, so that's what it's going to do. So we've given engine okay, no, what happens if we do it like this? What happens if we define a platform API first? And you know what? I actually want to return this. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up the API first, and then I don't pass the engine. That's mental. What I want to do is I want to pass in a reference to platform API, right? Yeah. So hold on, now I've changed this again. So this time it returns an engine. Like, here we're gonna have a pointer to the platform API. Wait, that's not right though, is it? Create window. Right, okay, so right, so what I want to do is I want to create a window by this platform window down here to read the engine's window. Okay. So now in here, return engine. Then we want to we are gonna have platform API pointer for platform API, right? And then okay. So we want to create an engine. Then we want to assign our engine, right? We want to say engine dot that's a pointer, right? So if we want to dereference it and copy the values in, like, does this have to be like this, maybe? The other thing is, should these be pointers? Anyway. Oh. Okay, well, we know we want to then return engine at the end. God, I'm so bad with Nemo. Sorry, guys. Getting there. What we want to do is okay, so at the moment we want our engine to be agnostic to the platform window and API. We then load in ourselves, so we kind of bootstrap the API. We then have to initialize our window agnostically. So we've been given our platform API by whoever started the engine, and that's being like, right, well, here's how we're going to use your functions to create your stuff, go out to engine, and now we need that engine to use that. So we need this to create a window. So we should have that. But first, actually, it wouldn't work because this create window has to match the signature of this. And this provides a H instance. So first we need to find, is there a get H instance? If memory serves, get module handle no returns the instant handle. Okay, so we should be able to H instance get module handle okay. So let's change it in our header. If I move one, we'll just put up the same line. Now we gotta remember what this. What is this actual data type? Const wide chart pointer. Okay. So then this create window will have a const. Okay. At least there's some AI viewers. Cheers, man. Let's see. Yeah. So currently, I am trying to create a window using the Win32 API. But I'm trying to make it agnostic to Windows and to OpenGL. So previously, the way I loaded it is you just direct called Windows and the Win32 API. But what happens if you're not running on Windows? At the moment, this is obviously running Windows and it's in WinMain, which is accessed by Windows. But basically, what we're loading in is kind of default functions that need to be filled, so that the engine knows how to kind of create a window. So if we would like on Linux, you could think that this would end up looking something more like this, where it's like the platform API now kind of looks like dot create window, and instead of pointing this dot create window at this Win32 create window, which is a function, it would be Linux create window. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. You don't necessarily have to do this at this stage. It just makes it easier to do this now instead of us having to untangle a massive mess as we get more complicated. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing now. Hope you're enjoying it, man. Right, so I have a feeling though I would like to show you thanks, but it's just not going to compile, so yeah. There's a lot of things that it doesn't like. We'll get there though. Yeah. One day. Hopefully by the end of the stream we'll have it compiling. That's the goal. Basically, we're just moving the creation out, so I'm going to need this. Alright, if I already moved this. See, it's kind of completely that it doesn't know what this function is. But hopefully, if I say platform API create window, then it might like it. We'll never know. Platform API, platform window. I want this to be our engine dot platform window. Okay, so initialize our engine, fine. And to initialize engine, we want to create the window, so we're going to move this into our engine creation. And the engine is going to contain a pointer to the window. I think so. Just returns, heat thingy of the window, so we can have. In fact, what we're going to do is change this to. Right, and then. So, platform API. you could initialize it like this. Can you not? Okay then. Why is that like that? Platform window index head identifier. Platform API is not a member of engine. Well, because I can't spell. Mean 23 platform window doesn't exist, okay, because it now exists in engine, right? So engine dot platform window, engine dot platform window. Until you get message identifier not found. And that's where there's a bit of pump. But what we can do is this now part of engine dot how do I spell? Is that correct? Pump messages. Pump messages. Oh, wait, platform API is pointer. And there you go. That is a... Okay. Oh. Okay, so we have given our API and we've loaded in specific Windows functions for API. We have an agnostic engine, I think, kind of. that initializes the window. Yeah, I think that's a good place to finish, I think. And yeah, let's just double check that. Yeah, the engine.exe, compiles fine. Now we can run engine, opens our window. Cool. That's a good place to stop.